Today, we are talking about the most common sales objections, and I'm going to also give the answers on how to respond to them because most people are afraid in sales when the customer goes, yeah, everything looks good, but it's just too expensive. Or I don't really feel comfortable giving you the keys to the castle. And if you are not ready for these impacts during the sale, because they are impactful statements, especially if you're not prepared for them, they hurt. And what they do is truly they throw you off balance. And that is the hardest thing because you might be on cloud nine. You're doing everything right during the sales process. You go through the entire thing, you're at the end, and then I don't really, it's just, can I talk to my partner? It just seems a little expensive. What do you mean it sounds expensive? We just spent the last hour, 2 hours going through everything in your entire system. How is that expensive? Well, in this video, we're going to address the most common objections. There's technically 6 of them that I have written down, but I'm also going to give you how to address these in the real world because it's really important that you prepare for them. And I'm going to give you some tips and tricks at the end of the video on how to be even better prepared for these as we go through this. How are you doing? My name is Harrison Barron from growth-generators.com. We help MSPs grow, whether it's sales training, marketing training, or even some business operations. Before I get into today's video, I do want to invite you to go to growth-generators.com, pull it up on my screen here, and just check out our website from our programs to the resources, the blog, the Discord. It's completely free. The podcast, if you're over there, you're listening into the car, I'd appreciate a review. But I want to bring your attention to growth-generators.com/resources. And there's sales sheets, there's a step-by-step guide on how to land your first clients, SEO checklists. There's so much there that I want you to go grab. It is completely free, but it's going to help you build your MSP. And you're not supposed to say like go grab a bunch of them, but I truly want you to succeed. So go grab as many as you need to help your MSP grow to the capabilities that it has. So let's get into objections. We have to understand what an objection is. Now, other sales professionals out there call it a smoke screen. Some people call it a deflection. It's almost at this point a natural reaction, right? Because everyone had to buy a car at some point for the most part. And I'm going to just keep throwing shade at the car salespeople because it's easy to. Because I think everyone, including myself, has had at least one bad experience buying a car. But objections are normal to expect, right? But we don't have to have them throw us off balance. Truly, right? Objections are often a lack of information, believe it or not. And they're a little bit of skepticism, and sometimes they're a bit of a fear of change. And that's really what we have to understand. It's not that the person won't move forward, it's they are trying to come up with something that says they are afraid to sign the proposal right this second, right? Maybe when you're talking to them. And it's important to understand that because throughout this process, especially if you're not an expert salesperson, it's a little bit tough to handle the objections. And truthfully, this learning objections area is going to make you significantly better than your competition because more than likely, if you're going to get a new customer, there's probably going to be incumbents in there, other people that are trying to earn the same business. But the customer is actively looking. They understand you are going to try to take money from them, right? And they want to make sure that they feel comfortable, right? They're not skeptical. They're comfortable with the change that's going to happen, but also they have enough information to make a good and quality business decision. And that's really what this all stems from. An objection usually is just there because they're missing something and it's their next, oh, it seems expensive. Well, yeah, because it is, but they don't understand certain aspects around them. And that brings me to my first common objection, which is quite literally It's too expensive. Now, thank God you have me and you're about to become a sales master. And the first thing is they're going to say, hey, you know what? Everything looks really good, but it just seems a little expensive. Sometimes it's a little, seems really expensive, right? We have to make sure that we talk about the ROI, the return on investment. I understand price is a concern, but let's look at the long term savings you'll gain by preventing downtime, cyber attacks, breaches, fines, God forbid. But more importantly, I know that Johnny works on this printer a handful of times every single week. Just during our sales call, I we had a conversation. He spends on average 1 to 2 hours per week, and that's only one printer. If I had to guess, some of the other printers are going down. I don't know what you pay him, but I would imagine it's a pretty healthy salary. On top of all these benefits, you're going to keep Johnny in the chair, making you more money for your business. That seems like a win-win. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't know. From what I can see here, just getting your employees to work more efficiently seems pretty good. What do you think? And you could go through that approach, right? I'm making up a completely fake scenario, so it's a little more challenging, but these are real world conversations. I've quite literally, not a person, John, but I have had that happen where, quite embarrassingly enough, that person's like, yeah, I spend like 2 to 3 hours a week trying to fix this one printer. It literally never works. And I'm like, I'm in a weird spot because I'm listening. The person signing my check is also standing there. And Johnny is like, yeah, this sucks. So it's important to make sure that you can highlight the ROI that they're actually getting. Now, something else that I really enjoy, depending on the kind of MSP you are, is tiered pricing. If they think it's expensive, maybe they want to get started with something a little bit smaller. And that's okay too. Maybe they need to go one tier down if you have a tiered system. Or you could really highlight and dive into the impact that you're going to have on their business. And one of my favorite things to do is, if you have the ability to, depending on where you're at in your sales process, is build a case study. If you have a case study where you could say one of our clients saved X amount of money, right, in operational costs, in employee labor, and your tools can quite literally do this. That's a huge home run. And you can turn that into a case study. So when they say, hey, look, it's expensive. I know it's expensive, but you're going to get way less downtime. You're going to keep Johnny in his seat. You're going to not have to worry about cyber attacks, fines, things of that nature, which are the worst things to deal with. But also, I just want to share with you guys a quick case study of, we worked with XYZ company. And if you can get it with XYZ company in their industry, chef's kiss. You have now bypassed that, because it's too expensive is now just a statement and not an objection, right? Because now you're showing your ROI, and the more social proof, case studies and testimonials you can show specifically in that industry, you are going to have a significantly better chance at closing them. Now, before I continue on, if you are looking to, we're putting together a cold calling round table or breakout room session in MSP Heroes. If you'd like to check it out, I would highly recommend growth-generators.com forward slash. We'll just go to growth-generators.com under programs and go check it out. We're going to be putting together a live training in there where you're going to be able to role play with other people to get better at cold calling. I would highly recommend checking it out if it's something you're struggling with. And we're going to be putting them on regularly. So if you're like, I haven't, this video is 4 months old, don't worry, they're going to be happening almost every single month to help people just get over the fear of cold calling. So objection number 2, we already have an IT team or an IT provider. Now, I love this one, because if I'm there and I've gone through the discovery, I've looked around the office, I've seen things, I've spoken to people, right? And they're like, yeah, we already have an IT guy, so why should I hire you? My absolute favorite response to this is, I'm not sure if you should, but let me ask you this. If you already have somebody, why am I here? And what you do is You basically catch their objection and say, hey, you need to now go answer this. Let them answer their own question because they wouldn't drag you through this. Now, if you get this objection on a cold call, we already have an IT provider. You're going to have to work a lot harder to get through this. And this is objection handling for a sale, not an objection handling for a cold call. That is for another day. And if you're interested in that, once again, check out the membership, MSP Heroes, or leave a comment down below. At some point, I will make a YouTube video for that. But this is something I've gotten. Hey, you know what? Everything looks good, but I do want to say, because I've asked, we do have an IT provider and they're pretty good. Okay. I'm super happy to hear that. But just out of curiosity, why am I here? Why did you have me come in to look at everything? Their time is valuable too. So is yours. They have to now answer why they decided to have you come in for a long period of time to do your analysis and all that kind of stuff, right? This is really, really important, right? And you don't want to be negative. You don't want to be mean. You don't want to be condescending because it does sting a little bit when they say that, right? But hey, look, super happy to hear that, right? If you don't want to say, why am I here? If you like the person that you have, although I think it's strange that you had me come in, how about this? I'll give you a free assessment. I'll go through everything. I'll see where there's deficiencies, where there's opportunities to succeed, and maybe even find out that they're doing a great job. Would you like a free assessment? Ask them that. That's okay too. They might give you access to the back end to be able to provide something to them that would help get them over the hurdle. But truly, I'm a big fan of why am I here? It's the best thing in the world, right? Objection number 3. We're not ready to make a decision yet. Now, this is also like I need to talk to my partner type thing. Like I need to talk to my partner, or, I need to talk to my boss. There's a million ways to say this one, right? But we have to address the underlying hesitation. I completely understand. Can you help me understand what information you'd need to feel confident to move forward? And if that's if we're not ready to make a decision yet. If they say, I need to talk to my partner, sounds great. I totally understand that. Now, this could go 2 ways. You could say, look, if I was in your shoes, and I don't want to be salesy and I'm not trying to be pushy, but if my business partner had the ability to make a good decision for the business and they didn't make the best decision for the business or what they believe to be the best decision for the business, I would truly be a little upset. Now, that one could sting a little bit, so bear with me here. Hey, I need to go talk to my partner. Totally get that. Makes total sense. Before you go talk to your partner, or you know your partner better than I do, what questions do you think that they're going to ask you? That way I can help you be prepared for when they ask these questions. I'm happy to spend a few minutes and just go over that. Let them come up with all of their objections that they're going to have in their brain and let them spit it out to you, because chances are pretty good they're not going to talk to their partner. But they're using that as a scapegoat to say, I don't want to sign right now. I need more information. And guess what? By you letting them walk away, they don't get the information they need to ultimately sign the contract. So you have to ask that. You want them to become an evangelist for you, and you want them to be able to coach their partner, if they actually need to go talk to their partner, in what you do and how you do it. So make sure you ask these questions. Hey, what questions do you think that they're going to ask you? That way I could prepare you for that conversation. My biggest fear is I don't want you to be having a conversation with them, and the worst thing you say is, I don't really know, or I didn't ask that question, because now you can't make a decision because you guys don't have the information and I might not be available when you call. That's totally okay. Or, hey, I totally understand that that's your process. Can we schedule time with that person and you, even if it's for a 15 or 30-minute phone call later today, tomorrow, as soon as possible, to cover any questions that they might have? It's one of the best ways to get over that, but you could use any variation of that. Objection number 4. I've never worked with an MSP before, and we're not sure if it's a right fit for us. This one's a tough one, because more often than not, if they've never had an MSP before, let's say they're a 10-person company, if you're charging $150 per computer per month, it's $1,500 a month. That 10-person company, while absolutely can probably absorb that $1,500, they're not ready for that. And that's a big expense because they're committing to it, usually annually, at least monthly, right? So it's not cheap for them. You have to keep that in mind throughout this entire process. You want to make sure that you educate them on the value of what an MSP does, what your MSP does. And you want to think and relay to them that you're a strategic partner and your goal is to reduce risks and maximize efficiency. And you could throw in and make that spicier than it is, right? But you want to offer as many real world success stories as you can, case studies, testimonials, and also give them information. They might truly not have enough information. Write blogs, use them in your marketing. You might have to come back. That might be a longer sales process than getting them to sign right away. Because God forbid you do get that signature and it's too much pressure on them, they're going to feel resentful and buyer's remorse almost immediately after signing, and they may just be looking for a way out for the entire contract, and they'll never call you again. You want to make sure it's a good business deal, and invite them to ask you questions. Spend the time with them to give them the right information so they can make a great buying decision. Now, number 5 is I don't see the value in outsourcing IT. This is another doozy, right? Sometimes they have an internal person, sometimes they don't, right? If they don't, more often than not, they probably fall into we've never worked with an MSP before. But if they don't see the value in outsourcing IT, you want to make sure you focus on business outcomes. This is one of my favorites because it takes a lot to explain, but truly, think about you when you worked for somebody else. You have sick days, kids, right? Things happen, weather, you just don't feel like working, whatever it is. You have to let them know that we don't just manage your IT. We ensure that your business stays productive, whatever hours that you offer 24/7 by 365, 24 by 5, whatever your numbers are. But we also help reduce the costs. An internal IT person might cost 60, 70, 80 for a great one, maybe $100,000, where we're a fraction of that. And on top of that, you're getting a team of people, better experience, no sick days, great response times. Even though we're not in house, we're going to be able to take care of a lot of these things remotely. And truth be told, we don't want to have to get people going to your office. That takes money from us. So we're going to work extra hard to make sure that you are running at peak efficiency all of the time. And this is truly what I absolutely love about this. But you will have to do a little bit of a comparison and keep in mind the IT person in that company, they are absolutely going to be fighting to make sure you don't get hired. Truly. And that's okay. But your MSP might truly be the best fit for that company. And number 6, if you've made it this far, I hope I've earned a like button, subscribe button, notification bell. This is what I would consider one of my better, or if not my best, sales video out there. Do me a favor, do those things. Check out the podcast, like it. And if you really want to learn more about sales, and I have tons of sales training I've never released on YouTube because it is the secret sauce to make crazy money in the MSP world. It's available inside of MSP Heroes. We are worried about security and giving you access to it. You're getting, for me not being able to find the key quickly on my desk, you're getting the keys to the castle. It's true. You're getting the ability to stop them from affording their kids' college, their cars, their mortgage, all of the mouths they have to feed inside of that business. It's really important you don't mess this up. You have to make sure that you empathize and you care more than any other competitor out there. Truly. We understand your concern with this, and it's not something we haven't dealt with before. If you already have clients, great, talk about them, right? If you have certifications, great, talk about them. Also, offer visibility in what you're doing. We can provide you reports. We are happy to, although we don't recommend giving you full access to your system because God forbid you break it, but we're happy to screen share. And if you do want access to your system whenever you want, maybe that's a compromise you're willing to make. But we understand this concern. We totally get it. And that's why we follow strict protocol, strict guidelines, whatever it is that you have, strict standard operating procedures, including multi-factor authentication on our end, but we might even roll that out for you as well. Data backups, encryption, all of the good things that you know that you're going to do good for them. But you have to make sure that you can break it down in a way that doesn't feel salesy, and also break it down in a way that educates them on you can trust us. And we have hopefully other customers that also trust us because we do a great job. That will help you win all the time. But you have to show empathy, and you have to show that you care more than everybody else, and you will blow past that one. That usually is one that you didn't show enough empathy, and you didn't feel like the customer doesn't feel like you care that much about the environment. And while that is a great sales tactic in a weird way, and that's a video for another day, you have to make sure that you can show that throughout that sales process. And the faster you can get ahead of that one, the faster it won't even be an objection throughout this process. So I hope you guys found value in this video. Once again, like button, subscribe button, notification bell, growth-generators.com. I have a long list of objections as well, but these are probably the 6 most common. They're gonna come up, but you have to prepare for them. And if you ever get one, write it down and rehearse it. Get a mirror, sit there, and go through your objections. I know it sounds crazy, and some of you guys think that I'm a fan, like pushing this because I make money. No, this is great. It sticks to the back of your phone. When you go to a sales call, you can record yourself. And when they have an objection, you can go back and break it down in your car. If you don't hit record on your phone, you can read all the notes, what they went through. And the nice part about it is it stops you from having to write down every single thing. It allows you to be a lot more present in the conversation. And I'll leave a link down for the Plod note, and they make a wearable pin now too. But truly, I am an affiliate on Amazon. You can buy it on their website too. Full transparency there. But I wish this existed. I used to have to listen to the entire conversation all back again, which was fine. But I realized all the mistakes that I made. And because I was able to learn from my mistakes, I was able to succeed faster than most people I know in the MSP world. True story, when I was on stage at ScaleCon in 2024, I was the fastest. I said I mastered MSP sales in like 3 to 5 months because I was listening to all of my conversations over and over and over again to get better. I wouldn't even leave the parking lot sometimes. I would listen to it back just to see if I missed anything. That way I could be better for the next meeting. Other than that, I hope you guys found some value in this video. Love you guys as always, and I will see you guys on the next video. Bye.